Hello, this is Dr. Mears, and today we are going to be adding and subtracting polynomials. First, what is a polynomial? A polynomial is a monomial or sum of monomials. Let's look at what a monomial is. We can have 4x cubed, or negative 5x squared, or 2. So they're just one term, that's it. A polynomial can be a monomial, such as 4x cubed, or we could put them together. A polynomial could be 4x cubed minus 5x squared, or 4x cubed minus 5x squared plus 2. What's a polynomial function? Polynomial function is f of x equals a to the n times x to the n plus a to the n minus 1 times x to the n minus 1 plus so on and so forth to a sub 1 times x plus a sub 0. What are all these things? Let's dive into it. So first, this n is going to be your highest exponent. And this is going to be a number, which is going to be our leading coefficient. Then this will be the next highest exponent. So if it's 4, then this would be 4 minus 1, which is 3. So this is the next highest. All the way down the line until we get to a constant, meaning we don't have an x. Okay, what does it look like? Let's look at our example of a polynomial function. We have f of x equals 8 times x to the 6th plus 4x to the 5th minus 7x squared plus 3. So let's label a couple things now that we have some numbers. So you'll notice 6 is the highest exponent. We have 6, 5, 2, and then we have no exponent here because it's a constant. So this is the highest exponent. Sorry, my voice is a little different. It's just kind of a little bit of a cold. The highest exponent is also called the highest degree. So you might have me ask you what the degree is. And so when I'm talking about the degree, I'm talking about that highest exponent. Okay, the number in front of the x that's linked by multiplication, and I specifically said 8 times x to the 6 because these are all multiplication, linked by multiplication. The 8 is our leading coefficient. Okay, and then you'll see the 3, that's our constant because it doesn't have an x variable. I mean, you could have x to the 0, so we could write it as x to the 0. 3x to the 0 is 3. But again, that 0 power, it doesn't, this then becomes 3 times 1, which is 3. So anything to the 0 power always is 1. And so that's why we don't show that x to the 0. Okay, so that's the constant, that's the number that doesn't change. And if we look, do we write the exponents in decreasing order? 6, 5, 2, none. And so you notice they are written in decreasing order. That's important because that's called standard form. We always use standard form when writing a function. This is where we arrange the terms in decreasing order of their exponents. Just like this is written in standard form. Okay, so let's look at our example. F of x equals x plus x to the third minus 1 plus 4x squared. So the first thing that we're going to do is we need to get this into standard form. And so when we get into standard form, we look for the highest exponent, which is going to be 3. Now I'm going to circle it, and I'm going to circle the sign that's to the left of it because it's going to be positive. So when I rewrite it here, I'm going to write down x to the third. Notice our f of x equals x to the third. And then I'm going to cross it out because I used it. Now I'm going to look for the next highest exponent, and we see that it's x squared. So the square is the next. So I'm going to circle the term positive 4x squared, and I'm going to write plus 4x squared. And I'm going to cross it out. Next we have is x, and that's a positive x, so plus x. And the last one we see is a minus 1. So now the degree, or the highest exponent, is 3. And then we have 2, and this is really a 1, and then we have none. So you can tell that we have decreasing exponents. It's written as the exponents are decreasing. And that's how we get it in standard form. Okay, let's go on to adding and subtracting polynomials. Adding and subtracting polynomials. Couple things to remember. When adding and subtracting polynomials, first thing you do is you remove the parentheses. You really have to be careful when you're doing subtraction because you are going to be distributing the negative, which is going to be a -1. We're distributing the -1. Then we're going to combine like terms. The easiest way to do this is to start with the highest exponent, and then we're just going to make sure it's in standard form. Now, what are like terms? Like terms have the same variable with the same exponent. A lot of people like it when I use SV, SE, same variable, same exponent. If you wanted an acronym, there you go. So like terms are same variable, same exponent. All right, so let's do a couple examples. First, we have to notice we have a set of parentheses here and a set of parentheses here. We look to see what operation is in the middle of those parentheses. This is going to tell you what to do. I'm finding that a lot of students are having a hard time deciphering between what to do with the problem. Am I multiplying? Am I adding? Am I subtracting? Look to see what it's telling you. This is telling you to add. And so what we have to do is first remove the parentheses. So since this is addition, we can just simply remove them. So 2x to the third minus 5x squared plus 3x minus 9 plus x cubed plus 6x squared plus 11. Okay, now we're playing the game. We're looking for the same variable, same exponent. And we're going to start with the highest exponent. So let's look. I see the highest exponents here are 3 and 3. These have same variable, x, and the exponent of 3. I can combine them. They're like terms. I'm going to do some circling. I'm going to circle the 2x, and I'm going to circle the plus x to the third. And remember, this is really a 1 in front. So I have 2x to the third plus 1x to the third. That's going to give me 3x to the third. And I'm going to cross them out because I really like crossing them out. I like combining like terms because you get to cross things out. All right, the next highest I see is a square. So I'm going to circle this. So this is now negative 5x squared plus 6x, and that's going to give us a plus 1x squared because negative 5 plus 6 is positive 1. That's what I wrote. And so it's positive 1x squared. Get to cross it out. What's next? I see I have an x term here. I don't have any other x terms, so I'm just going to circle it. There's no other to circle, so I'm just simply going to write it down. Just bring it on down. Cross that out. There's nothing to combine it with. You don't want to forget about it, so you're just writing it down. And then I see I have a minus 9 or a negative 9 now. Negative 9 plus 11 is going to give us 3. Oh, just kidding. It's going to give us 2. So we're going to have plus 2. Okay, and let's just check to see if it's in standard form. 3, 2, 1, and no exponent here. So it is in standard form. I don't need an f of x. We're just doing expressions right now, so I don't need an equal sign or anything. And that has been addition. All right, let's do number 2. Number 2, 2x cubed minus 5x squared plus 3x minus 9 minus, x cubed plus 6x squared plus 11. Okay, so we have a set of parentheses here and a set of parentheses here. Let's look. We see that we have a subtraction. So we are going to subtract. This is telling us subtract. And I said to be careful before when we subtract because we're going to have to distribute a -1. So this minus sign is really a -1 here. And we're going to be able to multiply everything by that -1. So first, let's get rid of the set of parentheses here. 2x cubed minus 5x squared plus 3x minus 9. Okay, so we just removed that first set. Now let's distribute this -1. -1 times x cubed is minus x cubed. -1 times 6x squared minus 6x squared. -1 times 11 minus 11. So if you want to think about it as you're changing everyone's sign inside these parentheses, you can. It went from a positive to a negative, positive to a negative, and a positive to a negative. So everybody got their sign switched to the opposite. Now what we're going to go do is combine like terms, starting with the highest exponent, and I see that it's a cube here, so 2x cubed minus x cubed gives us 1x cubed because 2 minus 1 is 1. Get to cross that out. Negative 5x cubed, squared, my 2's and 3's today, squared, and I have another square here, those are the next highest. I circle those, so I get a negative 5x squared minus 6x squared gives me a negative 11x squared. Cross that out. Plus 3x, I see no other x's, so I'm going to circle it, bring it down, cross it out. There's nothing else to combine it with. Then I have negative 9 minus 11 gives me a negative 20. Excellent. So if you notice, I actually used the same expression. I just changed it from addition to subtraction. So we do get very different answers once you do that, because here you're adding the two together and here you're subtracting. Okay, let's do the next two, and then that's all I have for you today. Number 3, let's look at this set of parentheses. We have a set of parentheses here, a set of parentheses here. What's in the middle? It's an addition sign, so that's going to tell us to add. All right, we can just simply remove the parentheses. We don't have anything to distribute. Making sure that we brought everything down correctly and its correct sign. Perfect. Okay, let's look for the highest exponent. I see the highest exponent is 4. So we have 3x to the 4th plus 8x to the 4th, and that's going to give us 11x to the 4th. Cross that out. What's next? I see we have cubes. 2x cubed minus x cubed gives us 1x cubed. Cross that out. Okay, what's next? I see we have a pair of squares. So I have negative 1x squared, remember that's a 1, minus 5x squared, negative 1 minus 5 gives us a minus 6x squared. Cross it out. And last, we have positive 7 plus 1 gives us 8. In decreasing order, yes, so that's standard form and nothing else to combine, so we're done. And our last one for today, we have a set of parentheses here and a set of parentheses here. I notice in the middle, this is subtract. That means that this is really a negative 1, and I'm going to have to distribute to everybody. But before we do that, let's remove the first set of parentheses. Now we can go ahead and distribute this negative 1. Negative 1 times 8x to the 4th is negative 8x to the 4th. Negative times a negative gives you a positive x cubed. Negative times a negative gives you a positive 5x squared. Negative times a positive gives you a negative 1. Let's just double check that all my signs got flipped to the opposite. Positive to negative, negative to positive, negative to positive, and positive to negative. Perfect. Let's go through and combine like terms. The highest exponent I see is 4. We got 3x to the 4th minus 8x to the 4th. That's going to give us a negative 5x to the 4th. Cross it out. The next is cubed. Positive 2x cubed plus x cubed gives us 3x cubed. Next is our squares. Negative, this is 1, plus 5x squares gives us a positive 4x squared. So that's a negative 1 plus 5 is positive 4. And 7 minus 1 is 6. Decreasing order, yep, perfect. And so I have negative 5x to the 4th plus 3x cubed plus 4x squared plus 6. Let's just label a couple things here just to recap. 6 is going to be our constant because it doesn't have a variable next to it. Our leading coefficient is going to be, negative 5. Oops. And the reason why this is the leading coefficient is this is the highest exponent, which I'm also going to call it its degree. So the degree here is 4 because it's the highest exponent. And it's written in standard form because all of the exponents are written in decreasing order. So that's just a little review of the vocabulary we went over today. This has been adding and subtracting. Hope it helps.